Hello, this is Pwnsalot, and I've done videos like this before for YouTube, and I'm just going to go over a couple of money-making techniques that I've been using on this game. I know that a lot of players play this game and they look at the YouTube content, and they're always looking for most up-to-date content on how to make money and things of that nature on any game that they play. MMOs in particular revolve around money, so I need to show you guys how to make money. Now, this is a real common strategy, but I'm just going to go ahead and point this out because a lot of the players that are coming back to this game might not be so familiar with this system. But if you see in the objective list under your quest menu on this game, Final Fantasy 11, you'll see Sparks and Unity accolades. Now you can essentially cap these out at 100k each and then start spending them on things that you need in the game. And if you're curious, like how fast can I cap these out? Well, you can cap them out in about a half hour. Let's just take a quick look, really quick. If you look here at the timestamps, looks like 7:30 a.m. was like when I left the zone and came back with capped sparks. And I'll just go see how long I was actually in that zone. Okay, well, there's almost 10 minutes worth of farm right there, so I can't go back much farther than that. But, I mean, that's okay. I can't really show how much I'm getting in this log, but take my word for it. When you've got a small party together, you can get a lot of points really fast in higher end zones. Like, we went to Rizenjima. Rizenjima's got some really high level monsters in it that can really kill you, so I like to bring a tank that can pull a lot of them. And I will lure a lot of them to a party member that's playing Blue Mage or Beastmaster or something that's got an AoE damage ability. And then we'll just cleave the whole zone that way and then wash, rinse, and repeat this process until we're capped out and then leave. And from what I've seen, it's about 30-45 minutes on a quick run to cap it out. You're looking at about an hour if you're a little bit more of a new player, or longer than that, of course. But then, yeah, you come back with your points when you finally finish farming, which it's fun to do, by the way. I love going to Rizenjima or Zita or Ruan and just farming and getting a lot of points that way. But if you've got a really decent setup put together, you can go. This is quite easy content. You can bring some level 1 friends along. They can get some leech going on and get their level 99s just basically carried in like less than an hour. And then, yeah, you can just cap your job out and get master status. The points are actually quite... They give you quite a lot of points just in capacity when you do this. Like, there's 2,000 almost each time you kill a mob. So yeah, you can cap out your merit point sheet this way, you can level up your tune this way, you can get your master status this way, and you can make money this way with the Records of Eminence system. Now, just really quick, how you actually would set this up is you're going to go through all of the different options for Records of Eminence, and you're going to look at the ones that actually are pertinent to your zone. Now, I do a lot of different zones and content, so I've got a lot of stuff that's random here, but notice that I've got a lot of Conflict Rizenjima set, because that's where I was at. We've got some spoils set. You know, if you're getting a lot of crystals from Rizenjima, you can set the spoils there. And I've got a little bit of a lag spike here in this zone right here, but I'm just trying to go through and show you guys. There's just a few different options you can go into, spoils, conflict, and things of that nature to get like all of your points. Once you've got all your points and you come back and you want to spin them, the accolades, I would recommend getting either refractive crystals with those if you need an incursion cape upgrade, or I would get special Gabi dial keys from this NPC Mithra girl right here. That's what I typically do, because special Gabi dial keys only take one inventory slot and they stack up to 99. So it's quite an easy way to just kind of dump all my accolades into one inventory space and then just get more accolades. So I can come and get 6 keys every time I cap my accolades and then go back and cap my accolades again in like 20 or 30 minutes. So that's that guy. And then when I have a lot of keys, I can come over to this goblin here and start spending the keys for free loot. And some of the loot that he'll drop is several million gil worth each loot. So I mean, you could get like a rock, you could get like a rock salt, or you could get like a foppish tunica. It just depends. It's random. So you just get whatever. I actually got a broken Lu Shang's fishing rod once out of there, and that's a 3 million gil item right there. So and yeah, I still have it somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but Lushang's fishing rod. I actually am still on the quest for Lushang's. It's halfway done quest. I get maybe like 6,000 out of 10,000 fish or something like that. But yeah, I got the rod somewhere, and I got it from the box. So I can technically just finish the quest and get a second rod, even though I can't dual wield rods, right? But there you go. I mean, that's just one of many examples. You could just get a free Lushang's out of it. Okay, so yeah, the most bread and butter you're going to see here is in the sparks, though, not the accolades necessarily, because that's a random system if you do go the key route and get the keys. But yeah, your sparks are going to be the ones that make you the money, because what happens here is these sparks, and of course the accolades, but there's not much to buy with accolades as far as NPCable stuff. So the sparks, they have a 10 to 1 conversion ratio, which means that if I had 100k sparks, I multiply that by 10, I get a million gil. Basically, 100k sparks is a million gil, right? Right on the edge of a million gil for that. So you're going to come through this list, and a lot of people who are watching this point, they've probably seen this before, but if you haven't, you need to pay attention, because I'm talking to one of the Sparks NPCs. This one in this case is Eternal Flame. It could be any Sparks NPC. There are 4 of them in the game. And I'm just going to go to the level 71 through 98 items, and I'm going to go all the way to the end. The reason why you don't go to the level 99 items is because they're all exclusive, and you can't sell those items to an NPC, but you can sell these items to an NPC, and that's the whole point. You're actually selling your sparks to an NPC. You're converting your sparks into gear, you're selling your gear for gil, so you're converting them into gil. So the item that you would go with is the Acheron Shield, only because it's the most expensive in sparks, so it's less items required in your inventory to fill up your 100k sparks. So just less inventory to get the Acheron Shields over and over. So I would just buy all these until I have no Acheron Shields able to be purchased, no sparks remaining, and then I'll have a whole inventory full of these. And you see that these shields are 2755. That number's not going to change. What will change is your fame level in the game, depending on what NPC you go to. Some of them will give you more gil or less gil for the Acheron Shield, or anything else that you want to actually unload. But yeah, this is quite a simple process. It used to be a little bit more challenging to actually get these shields, but for now, it's quite easy. You just come up here and start, go through this list and grab as many as you want until you're out of sparks. This will take me a while to get rid of all these sparks, but you know, we'll see. I might not do all of them. I'm gonna put a pretty decent sized dent in my sparks so I don't stay capped, and I'm gonna go out and grind some more probably. And the kicker here, the big ticket item that you have to realize, and a lot of people don't take this into consideration because they're not familiar with the game in this way, but I actually farm Acheron Shields, I farm Sparks to get Acheron Shields during specific limited time challenges in this game. Those specific limited time challenges include gain XP, and occasionally the physical damage dealt that follows gain XP 2 out of the 3 times each week. If I remember correctly, it's got 2 physical damage, and then like 1 is like vermin kills or magic damage or something. But whatever it is, it's a 4-hour gain XP window, and then after that it's a physical damage kill window. So if I'm out on Beastmaster, I can just do 8 hours worth of grinding because I'm going to do physical damage to get the kills anyway, so I can get sparks from both of those limited time challenges quite well. Of course, gain XP is the best one. You're going to want to definitely focus on getting sparks during gain XP because, well, like I said, you can cap out in 30 minutes. Like, how long does it normally take you to cap your sparks? You take that number, it's not going to be 30 minutes. Right? But during gain XP, you can get it done in 30 minutes. Like, that's a win in my book, you guys. If you could just walk in to a dungeon, cleave the whole dungeon, and then walk out of the dungeon with capped sparks, and in less time than it took you to watch your favorite anime episode, this is done. You've got a million gil. And to make things even more interesting, this is actually exclusive to the characters in the party. Each character gets the sparks. So if you have multiple accounts and you have multiple characters on the server, you could pile all of them into one party and then actually just go out there and cap sparks on all of those at the same time. So if I had a party of 6 different accounts that I owned, I could literally make 6 times as much in profit, right? That just makes sense. That's math. That's a lot of money, though. That adds up so well. Look at this. This is all money in my pocket right here. 27,550 gil, right? So that's what I can make here. This is what I would normally do. I would normally come over here and sell to that NPC because it's quite close. But because I'm filming, I want to show some options. And also because of the lag factor here, I think it'd be better off to just change zones anyway. So, because when I stream in this zone particularly, it's quite laggy. There's a lot of players, a lot of things going on here, and the stream is already lagging me. So, I'm going to go to a different zone, and I'm going to show you guys something you probably didn't know if you already knew about the Acheron shields. You probably didn't know about this, and I'm hoping that you give this a shot because it's actually going to pan out for you more than you think. When you fill up your inventory full of these Acheron shields, you want to make the biggest bang for your buck. In my opinion, after having mastered, well, not mastered, but gotten hero fame in a lot of different cities, I realized that the Pwnsalot shop in Low Juno has a really good exchange rate on Acheron shields and everything else in this game, actually. Just let's throw that out there. Okay, this is a broken shop. It gives you a lot more money for the item than all the other shops would give. And when you have an inventory full of items that you're going to sell, and you're going to go to the same NPC and unload all of them, you might as well go to the one that gives you the best price tag. So if you have the extra moments to go to a different zone, I would recommend this zone and this NPC right here. As soon as I can actually pull up her sales menu. So we had 27,550 gil each on the Acheron shields in West Adeline, and probably every other zone that is close to hero fame or at hero fame. But in the Pwnsalot, I get 28,238. That's an additional 700 and almost an additional 700 gil each item. So if I have an inventory full of like 80 of these, well, for simple math, let's say I have 70 of these in my inventory. That's a multiple, a huge multiple of what you would normally expect, because you're getting that extra 700 gil 70 times. I don't know how that math is going to turn out. I thought it would be easier, but it's not easier. Let's just say that you went with 100. Let's say that you filled up your inventory and your mog sack or whatever, and let's say you had 100 Acheron shields saved up. By the time you came over here, almost 700 gil extra for each of those. And I'm really tired, but if my math is right, that is 70k extra gil, which is like 3 free Acheron shields that you just poof out of nowhere showed up in your inventory. So think about the time you saved overall to get that money, and the time that you spent overall to get to this zone specifically from wherever you bought your shields. I think it's worth, guys. I think the little trip over here is worth. If you've got that many shields to sell, you should definitely consider this zone. But that said, I'm not too wild about a couple extra free Acheron shields that appeared out of nowhere, because if we're going to talk about money coming out of nothing, like just appearing out of nowhere, then I need to note also that you get copper vouchers in this game now, and the copper vouchers can be turned into sparks, which can then be turned into shields. 3 copper vouchers, in fact, is enough to buy a shield. And if you see in my inventory, I already have some copper vouchers. And I also have like 20 of them stashed on the NPC that actually gives me the sparks. So extra copper vouchers, just, you know, for a rainy day or an emergency. I've got a little bit more money than I thought I had, so that's good. So yeah, so the copper vouchers kind of give you free stuff as well. That just needs to be noted. But yeah, for the most part, if you're wanting the extra gil, come here. If you don't care, just run through the Adeline area and go straight to that NPC I showed you, because she's probably the closest NPC that will sell the Acheron, will buy your Acheron shields off of you, in relation to where you would buy the Acheron shields from in the first place, which would be your Eternal Flame or whatever Sparks NPC you're at. So yeah, that's just a quick little video I wanted to put together about you know, how you would make money in 2017 in this game. I have made videos before about Acheron shields in particular, but I just want to hammer it home to a lot of players that there's a lot of ways to farm sparks in this game, a lot of ways to use the sparks in this game, And if your sole purpose is to just collect gil in this game, which I highly recommend you do because you can buy just about anything from anyone in this game with gil, I would recommend you collect gil, and I think that's one of the best ways to collect gil. With that said, I'm just going to put a simple add-on to this video. At the very tail end here, I'm going to explain a little bit more about my secret technique on how I make gil. So if you watched this far into it, I'm just going to show you guys something, okay? It's going to take a minute to load the zone, but I'm going to go to a zone and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a hidden OP trick, right, to actually farm gil. This requires you to have a lot of prerequisites done though, so it's only hidden OP because there's such a narrow audience of players that have taken advantage of this technique. This technique can be done around the clock. You don't have to do it during gain XP. It's basically what you would do with your free time, right? If you're just playing the game. So I'm going to go to Maw Garden. This is a synthesis recipe. So you have to first off be a crafter that has crafted smithing up to past level 70. I would say around 80 or 90 you want for this. And I don't think there's a subcraft for this one specifically. We could look that up, but it's not that important. You just know that you have to be a crafter, you have to be a smith, and you have to have monster rearing leveled up to the point where you're at least level 5, I believe it is, and have gotten the cheer effect from the Adamantoise. This is the only pet that I'm aware of that gives you a cheer effect, that unlocks an item, that crafts an item, that sells for triple its value, okay? You heard me right, I'm not lying here. Okay, so the Adamantoise pet gives you a cheer effect in the monster rearing system. I don't have the pet right now. I retired him when I got the cheer effect, so I don't have him, but I still have the cheer effect from doing that and raising that turtle, okay? So now that that's said, I can come over here and go to rank 5 through 7 creatures. Now this list that generates when I open this menu is going to be a list full of items that only exist if I have specific cheer effects from the monster rearing system. So if you've completed the monster rearing system in this game, then you've gotten some cheer effects. Based on what cheer effects you have, this list populates with special items that you can't get anywhere else in the game, really. Now, I'm serious when I say this because the only other way you're going to get some of these items is if you do some like chocobo digging, or you get really lucky in like a BCNM, or it's very limited supply of some of these items, right? Well, that's my sell list. I'm sorry, I need to go to the buy list. But a lot of these items are actually freely available to purchase here. Hermes Quencher. Where are you going to find as many Hermes Quenchers as you want? Monster Rearing. That's where. Kakura Root, same thing. You want infinite roots? Here you go. Red Gravel? Okay. You see what I'm saying? These are all items that I've unlocked by doing all of these different monsters. I get some of their loot that I can just buy from the NPC. Now, I'm going to keep this short and just point out that this item right here is the big ticket item. It's called Adamant Nugget. If you could buy this Adamant Nugget, you're going to need 6 of them in order to make a craft. So 6 times 5216 looks like the price that I'm going to invest in this item. Now that's not a whole lot. That's what, 30k? 31,000 gil, something like that? Okay, so I lose 31,000 gil. Okay, now what do I get? I'm going to come over to this guy, which I've unlocked with stars. You don't have to, you just find a way to get to a fire crystal really quick, because you're going to need a fire crystal. I have a lot. I'm going to get 1 fire crystal, just to show you guys the craft. Right. And the secret ingredient, which is very rare for you to actually have a large quantity of, because of A, competition on the server, it's the most popular server in the game, B, limited supply of the monsters that you actually have to farm to get this, C, limited availability of the treasure hunter ability that will allow you to get the drops when you kill these limited monsters, this limited supply monster, assuming you claim it if there's any competition at that moment. I have farmed these things before with no competition. I will tell you where they're at, but you just need to know that the item that they drop is an adamant ore. So if you look up how to farm adamant ores, you'll find out that in Gustav Tunnel there's regular monsters called pygmytoises. They are in fact giant-ass turtles that you have to kill to get adamant ores, and that's the key. If you've got the cheer effect, if you've got the smithing leveled up, if you've got the farm from the pygmytoises that you were maybe doing earlier that day, then what you actually have is a free million gil every time you make a stack of these, basically. Basically, that's what you have. Otherwise, what you would do is you would just buy a stack of these ores for very cheap, like 250, 300,000 gil for a stack of these adamant ores, and then you spend, what, 30k each synth for the nuggets that I showed you? So 30 times 12, like 3,000, I don't know, some number, right? 300k, something like that. And then what you do is you take that number, which is roughly 650,000 gil if you bought everything, and you double it. And that's how much money you make. That's if you bought everything. If you bought everything off the auction house, you still double your gil with this trick, and that's why I'm showing it to you. If you farmed, you're literally spending 30,000 gil a craft. When you finish your stack, you make a mill. I don't care how the math looks on that. I don't have to demonstrate the math on that. That is sheer profit, and that is amazing. And there's not, like I said, there's not very many players in this game that can do this. But the prerequisites are not that difficult to actually accomplish. The monster rune system, to get to level 5 and get that craft started, oh, I'm sorry, not the craft, but to get the cheer effect at the level 5 tier, you're going to probably spend 3 or 4 months. I'm not exaggerating, that seems about right to me, 3 or 4 months. After that period of time, if you've been doing other things, which I'm sure you have, in monster rearing, then you actually not only have 3 or 4 months down the line accomplished your monster rearing cheer effect that gives you the adamant nugget unlock, but in addition to that, you've had 3 or 4 months to farm your pygmytoises, so you've got several stacks of adamant ore. In addition to that, it only takes a week to get the craft high enough level to craft these adamant ingots. A week, and you're there. So essentially, the time-consuming process here is visiting your monster rearing NPC every day and getting to rank 5 and taking care of the turtle, raising 1 turtle. Once you get the cheer effect, which can be done almost on day 1, then you can actually just go ahead and make all the money you want in this game. And it's that simple. I just crafted an adamant ingot. Back in the day, you had to farm those. Those were very difficult to get. You could only get a few of them each day. Now I can just craft them whenever I want, right? And I can get the materials whenever I want, because the turtles were added to this game as a little secret spot in Gustav Tunnel. There's in case anyone's curious, there's actually a page that you can do in the Grounds of Valor system in Gustav Tunnel. This is the northeast corner of the second map, by the way. So there's a page you can do, page 8, the last page you could possibly do in the Grounds of Valor system, that when you complete it, it gives you a prowess effect. This prowess effect can be any number of things, including Treasure Hunter. And it stacks, I believe, up to 8 times, which means that you can pretty much cap out your Treasure Hunter and keep farming these things all day. So what I'm trying to get at here is if you start doing this and you realize right away that, oh man, it sucks because I have to come out here on Thief and it's going to be really hectic to like claim stuff on Thief and kill things quickly, and I can't cleave because I'm not Blue Mage because I'm Thief, this sort of thing, you need to know that the longer you're in that zone, the more prowess you get, the more potential you will have to make adamant ores drop on your kills. So you should bring a cleave job. Worst case scenario, you're there for 3 or 4 hours to get some Treasure Hunter procs on your prowess, if you've done the Grounds of Valor, which you should, I recommend it. Best case scenario, you started like a smart player and either brought some form of Treasure Hunter, either whether it be gear or sub-thief, or a trust that has Treasure Hunter, or some trait that has Treasure Hunter on your character. Get some Treasure Hunter, bring it. I like to use Aldo. I can't prove that he has Treasure Hunter 2, but Aldo seems to have Treasure Hunter 2 in my experience, so I like to bring Aldo when I farm in this specific zone, and I like to bring my Corsair because you've seen my Corsair if you've watched my YouTube channel, it's badass, and I can one-shot the turtles. Instant speed. So if somebody else is in the zone, and we're competing for a turtle claim to get that chance at getting that loot, all I really need to do is walk up to it and hit my quick draw, and then I'll either one-shot it or bring it to critical HP, at which point I literally just need to pull out my weapon and tag it. Aldo will pull out his weapon and tag it. At that point, Aldo's had time to deal damage, and if he does have Treasure Hunter 2, it's had time to proc as a debuff on the mob, so the mob will be debuffed by the Treasure Hunter effect at that point. Or you could just bring it yourself, like on gear, you could bring Treasure Hunter. I could sub Thief, Corsair Thief, and then go that way too if I wanted. Or I could just bank on the fact that I've been there long enough to collect the prowesses needed to get the Treasure Hunter levels up, and then I'll have the Treasure Hunter and still be one-shotting everything, right? And never be outclaimed. That's the beauty of it. That's why I like to do Corsair. So that's my recommendation if you're trying to really get some money. Just go farm those Pygmy Toises. I know you probably don't know where they're at, or you've never seen them. And I'm gonna not tell you guys in this video, only because I want you guys to try to find it for yourself. It's quite easy, but if I just told you how to play the game, it would be no fun, right? Plus, it's a little bit of a walk, so it's too much for this video. Just know that you can get the ingots dirt cheap if you either farm the materials, having done all of the prereqs I mentioned, which includes monster rearing, which includes smithing level up to like 70 or 80 or 90. And also includes farming in Gustav Tunnel, and or includes stocking the auction house and buying all the nuggets and or all of the ores that would be on the auction house, because you can get them for really cheap. I know players that will just post their nuggets from their Mog Garden straight on the auction house because they know people will buy them because this is a good trick. If they don't have smithing level, they don't have any use for the nuggets, so they'll just buy stacks of nuggets and turn around and flip them, and they will sell instantly because this is such a good way to make money. If you don't use nuggets on this craft, the nuggets that you spent such a little amount of gil to buy, then you actually end up spending pretty much 1,000,000 gil to make a stack of these ingots, which explains the price. Just in case anyone was having difficulty of any kind believing me that this is a thing, understand why this is a thing is only because you have the unlocks on your character. If you don't have the unlocks on your character, you're spending a lot more money on the nuggets. The craft in general to make the adamant ingots and the adamant sheets is going to be more money for you, more time and effort for you, if you don't have the unlocks I specified in this video. So just keep that in mind. That's why it is the way it is. Because if you don't have the unlocks, you're actually breaking even on the craft, which is fair. If you do have the unlocks, however, you are doubling or tripling your money every single time you make a stack of these ingots. And the sheets that you could still craft if you want to like level up even further. They're about the same amount of money. They sell about just as fast, and I just recommend doing it, guys. I've not ever seen a craft so busted in my life, and if you want to make that money, do it, man. Do the monster rearing system. This is a rank 7 monster rearing system completed at rank 7. I have several rank 7 mobs in here. I've done all the rank 4, 5, 6 stuff, all that stuff. The turtle was the only one that gave me an unlock that I'm aware of that gave me this kind of profit potential in crafting in general. So I just want to throw that out there. I've looked around and I haven't found another craft that makes a lot of money. If I do find one, I will share it with you guys at one point. I'm not hiding anything. I'm just not spilling the beans all right out in front of you because I want you to experience it yourself. It's part of the process of playing this game and getting better at this game is to experience these things yourself. So, and yes, I did say I wanted to keep this short, so we're going to end the video here. I hope you guys learned something about making money in this game. I hope that at least something came as a surprise to some of you about how to make money in this game. And if you're just completely lost, just to reiterate, sparks equal gil, monster rearing, cheer effects equal gil potential, right? And that's all I'm going to have to say about that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.